On today's show,
Phil Jackson's had a lot to say about LeBron recently. Will the King take it out on the Knicks tonight?
in Crossfire, we debate the quietest 50-point games, the schedule potentially starting earlier, and the season's best circus shots.
And happy birthday! We'll celebrate Larry Legend turning the big 6-0.
It's Wednesday, December 7th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters. Whether you're listening to the podcast or joining us live right now on NBA TV or a little bit later on YouTube, we're happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
Dwayne Wade looks good in black. Can't deny it.
To his right, it's the International Man of Mystery, taking it to the max. Wearing a sweater today, Lily.
Friend.
Hey, friendo. And finally, last, certainly not least, over there, it's the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo!
TK, what do you got for us today?
Guys, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters, but more importantly, we're getting our science fair on today because the Chicago Bulls sent us a bunch of their Nikola Mirotic chia heads that they gave out at a game last week. So we're gonna try and grow one here on set. I don't think they actually need sunlight, but I guess we'll see. I already pre-soaked the head, mixed up the chia paste. Now it's just a matter of putting it on his beard.
Put that beard on.
Yeah, I made one of these with my daughter this morning. You gotta make sure that the paste is real thick, otherwise it's not gonna stick. You guys think we should go hair too or just beard?
Yeah,
Just
do that.
beard.
Just beard.
Oh.
Eyebrows.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh. Ew. Don't eat it.
Fine.
It
Chia
looks
seeds
like-
are some of the most nutritious foods on the entire
Yeah,
planet.
but don't go eating it.
You know, that's what they're made for.
right.
Anyways, it brings us to today's question. Who else should be chia-fied? To me, Elfrid Payton of the Orlando Magic seems like a perfect candidate. The less maintenance, the better. Or if a team finally decides to honor Ricky Davis, it should be the Celtics paying tribute to his legendary blowout.
Oh,
or hey,
cool.
maybe go with November Lee Ellis, complete with his Chia Merv Hughes stash. But if you want to go with Lee, let's go full boat. And make sure to include his chia arms.
Good boy, yeah.
Looking good, Lily. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter. Who else should be chia-fied? Send us your best tweets, the #TheStarters, and I'll just be snacking over here.
So.
Fuck the fact.
Well, chia-fied. Yeah, sure. On tonight's show,
I'm a purist.
we got Crossfire. Tass and I will go head-to-head. And we're going to celebrate Larry Bird turning the big 6-0. We'll have some fun with that. But let's start with a little 3-on-3 because there's a lot of games on tonight. Trey, take it away.
Yeah, 10 games on the schedule, but I've got questions about just 3 of them. It's 3-on-3 tonight. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers head to Madison Square Garden for the first time since Knicks president Phil Jackson's unfortunate posse comments. He's got a little extra motivation, and he's done it in MSG twice before. But will LeBron go for 50 tonight?
No, he's silencing critics with his passes this year. He's doing it without scoring.
50 passes tonight, 50 assists.
He's going to have at least 50 passes.
Yeah, 50
at least 50
assists.
passes in this one. 14 years in his career. This is his 13th highest scoring average. He's not scoring a ton. He's letting the Currys do that, letting the Durants, the Westbrooks do that. He's dominating the game without scoring a ton. And that's his forte. That's who he is this year. He's a career high in assists. He's 4th in the NBA right now at 9.2. That's how he's silencing people, and that's how he gets his guys going. I think that's what LeBron wants to do night in and night out.
You got to remember where this game is, though. It's at Madison Square Garden. This is the venue that brings out the best, and some of the best we've ever seen.
For sure.
Michael Jordan, Kobe, always played well there and had notable performances. And LeBron, Trey mentioned, he's already had 2 50-point games. I think tonight would be a perfect opportunity for him to go out there and try to get another one.
Yeah,
the Knicks are playing well.
Yeah.
The Knicks are playing really well
they
right
really-
now.
especially at home.
And
But this is how he thinks of his team. He wants to get Kyrie going. He wants to get his guys going. And that's why he's passing so much. Again, at 23.9, this would be his 13th highest total. But I understand. You might want a one-off.
He has the extra motivation, too, from what Phil said over the last couple of
Absolutely.
weeks. He might want to send a subtle message to Phil as well.
Well,
So-
it wouldn't be very subtle, I think, if he goes for 50 tonight. Look, I think he's either going to have a huge scoring game, like a 50-point game, or it's going to be a monster triple-double. And maybe that's the one that's a little more likely. And when I say monster triple-double, I mean the Westbrook Harden, like 30-plus points and the 10 and 10. LeBron's not wired, I don't think, like a Jordan or a Kobe, where he uses any little slight for motivation. But I can't remember, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I can't remember seeing LeBron as angry as he was from those Phil Jackson's posse comments. Him and his friends felt slighted, his associates felt slighted. I would not be shocked in the slightest if he goes out there, especially against a good Knicks team, on ESPN tonight, of course, a marquee game, and puts up some unbelievable numbers. We know he can do it. It's whether he
Obviously.
wants to.
Yeah, I think he wants to put the assists out there. Mark me down for 14 or 15 assists, and maybe he comes down the first possession and runs the triangle just to give it to
Oh, that
Philly.
would be
This is how you run
incredible.
it, Philly.
Hey, Madison Square Garden owes him a triple-double too. Remember a couple of years ago he had one and they got
took one away.
removed, a rebound taken away from him, so he didn't get it. But I think he is going to go out there tonight. You mentioned about Phil Jackson. He was fuming.
He was
after
furious,
that.
right?
You never see him sort of hold on to a grudge
I agree.
like that. So I think he's going to go out there tonight and really want to prove a point.
We will find out. All right, back to Trey for our next question. Trey's just playing with the Chia pet right
Well, I
now.
want it to look good.
All
okay?
right, come on,
Jeez. All right, anyways, two of the best teams in the league, the Warriors and Clippers, face off for the first time tonight. And even though the Dubs have won the last 6 meetings between the two teams, the Clips have a top 5 offense and the best defense in the league. So, guys, will the Clippers be an obstacle for the Warriors?
I was an early believer in the Clippers.
Yeah.
But then they've hit a road bump.
Yeah,
a big
sure.
road bump. But we always hear a good offense is better than a good defense. We're going to find out tonight. Warriors have the best offense in the league.
Of all time, we should find
Of
out
all
right
time,
now.
yeah.
Well,
And the Clippers have the best defense right now
Right.
in the league. So one of those has to give. I just think the Warriors, coming off that high from Klay Thompson the other night, scoring 60, they're going to be coming so full of confidence. Whereas the Clippers, even though they've had a couple of days break, they're coming off a bad loss. Sometimes after a bad loss, you need to get out there the next night and try to get another win and try to forget about that loss. They've almost had too much time to think about it. I think it's going to be the Warriors tonight pretty comfortably.
Yeah, the Warriors are the favorite, no doubt. But you got to look at it matchup-wise. The Clippers match up very well. 4 games last year, Blake Griffin wasn't in 2 of those games, and the other 2, the Clippers had fourth-quarter leads
Right.
against the Golden State Warriors. They almost pulled out. Chris Paul does a good job of getting all up in Steph Curry. Bob Mute's a pretty good defender against Kevin Durant. DeAndre Jordan has the advantage on Zaza Pachulia. Up and down the line, I think this team matches up well. You can't really say that about many teams with the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, the Cavs match up extremely well,
Yeah.
and I think the Clippers do too.
They've had big wins. We saw them beat the Cavaliers. Even in this, I'm talking about the Clippers
Yeah.
here. They beat the Cavs on Thursday night. I believe they've beaten the Spurs. They've gotten up for these big challenges. This is another one. And, you know, the schedule really is set up perfectly for them. You said there, Lee, they've had 2 days off to rest and prepare. They don't play again until Saturday. I
Yeah.
think that's important too. So, you know, it's the cliche warning here, but they can leave it all out on the floor tonight. And I think it's got to be a big statement game for them. They haven't been able to get over the hump against the Warriors in the last couple of years. They could really use this one. And maybe you know, of course we saw Klay go for 60. That's likely not going to happen again. It is Klay Thompson, so anything's possible with those guys. But
50.
Yeah, 50, a bad night for him. I think the Clips could win this game tonight. And in a weird way, you don't want to put anything in just one game, but I think it would mean a lot more to them than anything to the Warriors picking up a
If
W.
they are going to win, they've got to keep the turnovers down. Of 4 of their last 6 losses where they've had this cold streak, they've had 20 turnovers,
Right.
and that's been their big problem. Early on in the season, they were taking good care of the ball. Chris Paul's turned it over a lot. When he's turning the ball over a lot, very hard for the Clippers to win.
I think this is the team that matches up best with them in the regular season the last couple of years.
Right.
You know, the results aren't there, but other than the Cavs, they match up really well.
All right, Trey, final game here.
All right, since the Clippers are busy at Staples Center, the Lakers are traveling to Houston tonight for a game that should feature a whole bunch of points and almost 0 defense. Should be fun. But I'm more interested in the Grub Tub, a new contraption that allows fans to carry their food on top of their drinks. As a recovering fatso, I'm all in on this. But would you guys get a Grub Tub?
Why the heck not?
I think
It's
it makes,
easy to carry.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
You got those flimsy plates sometimes, and you're
That's a
trying to
good
cheer,
call.
and then you also got to drink, and you're going up and down stairs.
That's
I like this
a
thing.
one-hander, it looks like.
I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
I'm not drinking it with the soft drink in there. I don't drink soft drink.
Put water in it.
Okay, I can drink some water. And those other snacks, I mean, that popcorn's covered in salt. I don't want any of that.
You'd have the worst Grub Tub ever.
Yeah,
you live a little,
Water
man?
and chickpeas on the top.
I don't know what I'd put. I'd try to find something else nice to put in there, but no, the rest of it.
Well, you want
no
some
thanks.
chia seeds? Go help yourself.
Yeah,
the
these are
chia
actually really
seeds,
good if you
yeah.
want some.
Yeah, come on, he eats
No,
healthy. Come on, you eat so healthy.
Yeah, those are good. Anybody else?
Beautiful.
No, thank you. So you would do it as long as they were healthy options.
Yeah.
You like the concept.
Yeah. I can't talk and not chew, so I'm going to have to chew this here. Yeah, it's
All right,
actually
well,
not
we're
bad.
all in.
What did you soy?
Swallow it, man.
It's quite viscous.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like
don't.
it.
It's like pesto.
He's going to spit it up. Don't go to commercial.
No.
Don't go to
Come
commercial,
on.
because when we go to commercial,
Swallow
he's
it, man.
spitting it up. Swallow. Do it. Do it. Yeah, that's a
Show us
lie. He faked it. Show us your tongue.
Okay, go to break. When we come comebacks, quiet 50-point games, an extended season, and circus shots. Tass and I will go head-to-head in a brand new edition of Crossfire.
Don't get him a garbage. Don't.
Where are you going?
Yeah, welcome to Crossfire. This is how it works. Trey will give Skeets and me 3 topics. We'll debate each one, and at the end of it all, Trey will declare a winner. Trey, what's our firstie?
All right, round one. John Wall went for a career-high 52 last night, but the Wizards lost to the Magic, and Klay Thompson just scored 60 in 29 minutes. So that 52 is really flying under the radar. Guys, tell me, John Wall's 52 was the quietest 50-point game since who? Here we go.
I think it's the Raptors' Terrence Ross. Yeah, Terrence Ross scored 51 points back in 2014 against the Clippers. He hit 10 threes. It's 16 to 29 from the field. He got a lot of shots up, but it's forgotten because the guy's not a scorer. Since then, his high is 27 points. He just caught fire one night, and it's sort of forgotten. It happened on a Saturday. It was one of those weird incidents.
Well, if he's not a scorer, this guy's definitely not a scorer. Corey Brewer had a 50-point game. Corey Brewer.
He has a higher scoring average than Terrence Ross in his career.
Well, I suppose so, but he's been in the league 10 years, and he hasn't hit 30 points once. At least Terrence Ross can put the ball in a hole, and he's a young player. If you know Terrence Ross for anything, he's a scorer. What else is he? He's a high flyer, and he's a scorer. Corey Brewer, on the other hand, his Pro Basketball Reference nickname is the Drunk Dribbler.
I saw that.
That means you can't score. I mean, with that awkward shot, at least Terrence Ross can
hold
get
on.
hot and score.
John Wall's is quiet because it also came in a loss. Ross's came in a loss. Brewers was a win, if I remember correctly, that 50-point explosion.
Apparently you do.
Yeah.
How do you remember if it's a win or a
Because
loss?
I'm a
you
basketball
looked it up.
reference right
you
here,
looked
man.
it up, you
All
cheater.
right. Round two. ESPN's Mark Stein reported recently that there's a strong likelihood that the start of the season is going to get bumped up to the October 15 to 20 range to help reduce back-to-backs. When it comes to starting the season earlier, are you pro or con? Here we go.
I'm pro. It's a great idea. Every preseason, what do you hear people say? The preseason's too long. You cut it in half, that's fantastic. And then the regular season, you're keeping guys fresh. This is a great idea. We know back-to-backs have been going down the last 3 years. You start the season middle of October, you're going to get it down to about 10 or 11. That's fantastic. As well as 4 games and 5 nights. Those have almost been eliminated from the league. There's only 20 in total. That would entirely eliminate them. Games will be spaced out. Wear and tear will be less. This is good for the game.
Look,
guys will be sitting out less.
I'm all for cutting down on preseason games and eliminating the back-to-backs in 4 and 5 nights, as you said. But the NBA season, it's like Trey's beard. It's too long, man.
Hey, man, I trimmed it this morning.
It's too long. It starts in October, goes till April. That's the regular season. Then we got a couple more months. Then we got the draft. Then we got free agency.
Guys.
Then we have summer league. We're at the end of July. We don't need to make this
This is
even
a 12-month
longer.
sport, and guys are playing all year round
I
anyway.
gotta go to Greece on my summer vacation, man.
Oh, how many TBTs can you have?
I need to have a couple months worth.
All right, final round, round 3 here. Yesterday was World Trick Shot Day, and I got trick shots on the brain, to be honest with you guys.
Okay.
What's the circus shot of the season? Here we go.
I think it goes to Kitchener's finest, Jamal Murray. Denver's rookie point guard, Jamal Murray. Just happened. This one's unreal because
Oh, that's a travel.
the rookie picked up his dribble, clock's winding down. Uh-oh, what do I do? What do I do? Throw it up. Finger roll.
More like
That
take
is
2 steps.
Pretty.
Whoop, whoop,
No
whoop.
one calls traveling in this league anymore, man. So I go with Jamal Murray. He's playing well over the last 9 or 10 games after not hitting a shot through the first, 4 games of the season. I'll go Jamal.
He got Rookie of the Month, surprisingly. I'm
Yeah.
going to go with another rookie. Memphis' Troy Williams. Happened Tuesday night. This is fresh on the brain here. This is a real trick shot. There's no travel here. He just falls down and throws it in. The awareness.
He looks like the drunken dribbler.
Yeah, he does. And it goes in. He's a high flyer usually. He finds the bottom of the bucket. I find that glorious. And again, no infraction on the play. There's no travel.
I'm still upset that Lee Ellis won our trick shot battle.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I mean, you should be embarrassed whoever voted for Lee Ellis doing a shot that his
outta here.
grandmother could do. Oh, back pocket like
Yeah.
this.
The winner today.
You better believe it. Yes!
Wow.
Came out of the dark just like Lee Ellis.
Our camera guy called that one. Unbelievable. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to celebrate Larry Bird turning 60-year-olds today. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Starters. Welcome back to The Starters. Big birthday in the association today. Happy birthday to Larry Bird, Larry Legend, the Celtics Hall of Famer, current Pacers president of basketball operations. Larry Bird turning the big 6-0. Hope he's celebrating somewhere by cracking a nice cold Budweiser.
Yeah, he loves the Budweisers.
Yeah, for sure. Lee, I know you're going to want to start this one. Favorite Larry Bird moment?
Do I only get one?
There's a lot to pick from.
I'm going back to 1991, Game 5 of the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Indiana versus Boston is a testy series. In Game 5, Larry dives for this loose ball, cracks his head in the first half, leaves the game.
Right.
The Pacers actually take the lead in the third quarter. Larry comes back out. This is legendary stuff.
Right.
I mean, he probably wouldn't have even been able to come back out these days. He would have failed the concussion protocol. Comes out in the third quarter, fourth quarter, turns the game around, wins it for the Celtics. They go on to win the series. This actually turned out to be the last playoff series Larry Bird ever won.
Right.
What a way for him to go. And he did play in another series, but that was the last one he won. Just an incredible moment. And that series, I mean, Chuck Person, my friend Chuck Person, I remember.
He's not your friend, man.
He's got his phone number.
He's not your friend.
He had an incredible series, but then Larry turned the tables at the end, and just an incredible moment for a guy at the end of his career.
Weren't you talking to your other friend, Kevin McHale, about that game?
I was talking to Kevin McHale just yesterday, actually, about this series, and Kevin McHale didn't realise he hit his head on the floor.
Right.
He thought, because Larry had a lot of back problems at that stage of his career, he thought his back was just playing up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until after the game you realised what had happened and how incredible it was. And Larry has said he sort of doesn't really remember that second half.
He smokes his head off the floor. That's
so
crazy.
just incredible. There was no big swelling or bleeding or anything like that. The fact that he was able to come back out and top off his sort of career with that incredible moment.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go prior to that, and maybe I'm picking this because he's turned 60 today, and we just saw Klay Thompson go for 60, but Larry Bird scoring 60 points against the Hawks in that legendary battle, the one where he's killing the Hawks so much that the Hawks players on the bench are reacting like, oh my God. He scored 33 points in the final 14 minutes on the court, and that included the final 18 points from the Celtics. And this is a weird one. It was off-site. It was in New Orleans. That's the Hawks were playing some of their home games in neutral site, I guess, in a way, that season. 60 points, franchise record for the Celtics at the time, Bird's highest. You got to go with that, I feel like.
Coach Mike Fratello apparently fined his own players for sort of celebrating Larry's accomplishments. So,
and a great part about that game, too, we got to point out, back to Kevin McHale for a second. McHale had scored 56 points 9 days earlier than the Celtics record, and you knew Bird was talking about it. Bird was upset that McHale didn't go for more. It was against the Pistons, and McHale checked himself out. And, Bird's competitive nature, especially against the Pistons, a team they didn't get along with, how can you stop at 56, right? So he went and got 60, not much longer. All right, what about this question here? This is one for people do all the time. Is Larry Bird the greatest small forward in NBA history?
I think he was until 2003. When LeBron James came along. If LeBron James is even a small forward, I mean, he plays multiple positions. But I think if you look back at the history of the game, Larry had everything. He had the basketball IQ. He had the athleticism in his early days. That sort of left him as his career went on. He had the clutch moments. He delivered all the time.
He's got the rings.
He's got the rings. He was a three-time
legendary
MVP.
Haircut, legendary mustache. He was the 80s in the Eastern Conference.
He was. I mean, he along with Magic Johnson, of course, really did blow the league up in the 80s. I mean, they just had such a great rivalry. And I mean, he's without question. I mean, we know he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It just really comes down to personal opinion. But I think what we've seen from LeBron over especially the last few years, a 4-time MVP, LeBron's probably overtaken him as a small forward. But again, LeBron is probably the second best player we've ever seen.
You agree with that?
It's hard to argue. At this point, we're going a decade back. I wouldn't say 2003 when he walked on the court, but a few years later, especially the last. It's hard to. It's always ridiculous to compare them. Even if you did this in 2010, when LeBron didn't have a title, it's a little ridiculous to compare them mid-career. But even at this point, where LeBron still has 5, 6, 7 years remaining,
that's the crazy part.
He's going to get some more of those rings.
That's
possibly.
right. Bird 3-time MVP. You said LeBron 4-time MVP. They both have 3 rings when it comes to titles. 12-time All-Star selection for Larry Bird. LeBron's already at that.
Yeah.
And how many more does he tack on to that? Like, LeBron could really have a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar-like career.
Yeah.
Where he's amazing right when he came in, and he's amazing when he leaves in year 17, 18, 19. I mean, it could really go that.
And Larry said if he'd taken better care of his body, especially with the modern technology now, he could have prolonged his career.
Sure.
But he wasn't able to at the time.
Fun question we usually do here when we're sort of looking back at players. Is there a modern-day version of Larry Bird? Is it LeBron James? Is that the closest thing? What do you think?
I'd have to say yes, but I mean, LeBron is just so much more powerful. That's the biggest difference.
That's why it's modern day. The shooting, the defense, the athleticism is different, but Larry was the best front court passer until LeBron came into the league. like you're saying, Lee, LeBron doesn't really play a position. He plays every position. And Larry was sort of the same way.
Yeah.
They would play inside, they'd play outside,
Yeah.
they would initiate the offense, they would post up, but no matter where they were on the court, LeBron and Larry, the offense is running through them, and the ball's going to find them, and they're going to find somebody to make a play after that. So I think that those two, they don't look alike at all, they don't
Yeah.
play alike at all, but the way that they influence the game is pretty similar.
Yeah, the way they
for
came
sure.
into the league, it was just 25 years later, so guys were working out a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And obviously LeBron has it in his genes, but guys lifted. And Bird stays, you look at those legs, they're
You go lift the
bird-like.
Budweiser after the game.
LeBron's got other parts of his games that stand out more, but the passing, I think, is very underrated and very much like Larry.
Happy birthday, Larry. There's a lot of candles on there, apparently. It's all right. We got to take one more break. When we come back, Lily's very solid play. Don't go anywhere. We asked you earlier in the show, who else should be Chia-fied? Like Elfrid Payton there. You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters. Trey, you have a few of the best answers.
Yeah, a lot of Trey Kirby and James Harden answers, but here are some other ones. Matthew says Rasheed Wallace. It'd be impossible to replicate that bald spot. Not bad. Similarly, Mazman says if you want to save a buck, go for the Manu Ginobili Chia pet.
Oh, wow.
Brad says a Chia Anthony Davis, bro. I can actually see that
That's
happen.
good.
That's a good idea. Dan says Dwayne Shintius, a legendary mullet. I think he called it the lobster. Best answer, however, was Noah, who says I think Skeet should be a Chia pet. We can all see what he would look like with a beard since he can't grow one. Oh!
Snap. You got me, man. What are you talking about? It's coming in real nice.
Yeah, that's looking
2
heavy.
months. 2 months, guys. Last night's pick'em play, we all had the Knicks, and we were all right. Pretty rare here on the starters. Tonight's game, great game. Obviously on ESPN, it's the second game of their doubleheader. Warriors, Clippers. I'm taking the home team. I'm going Clips tonight. I think they finally get a win against this Warriors team. The other three guys going with the Dubs. Good luck to all. Lily, VSP.
We are going to Utah, and it's Bobo from the Bobo through to Dante, who finishes with a beautiful layup. Look at it again here. Bobo was fantastic in this game. This is just one of his old Spurs passes, really. Through traffic, through to Dante. That's a layup. That's what I call a very solid play.
Australian too, Dante there.
Oh, he sure
I
is.
like how you got that in there. I think we have some fan signs, Lily.
Yes, we do. The first one comes from Enrique and his brother at the Raptors game on Monday night. Unfortunately, this sign couldn't get the Raptors over the line against the Cavs. And then Denzel and his buds put together this multi-layered sign in Miami last night. And they're memeing the heck out of us, guys. Look at that. We've got me and Trey doing the beeps.
Oh, the beeps!
And a banana. And then Skeets and Tass get crying Jordan meme.
Oh, because we didn't get invited
Didn't
to
get
the
in the
All-Star
All-Star
Celebrity Game.
Celebrity Game. Yeah, so great job. Keep those signs coming, everybody.
Yeah, get them in. Hashtag the starters at the starters. We're back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. See you then.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, real bros feed each other protein.
Brace the night, people. Oh.